Alright, so today we're taking a look at the nano tank rack. Well, I'm not sure if it's considered nano tanks, but these are, I think, 10-gallon tanks. I'll put the dimensions up on the screen right over here so you guys can tell me now, like, what's the maximum size that a nano tank can be. So these here in Japan where I live, they're called the standard 45 centimeter tank is what we'd call them. And yeah, they're really nice tanks to play with, especially for smaller type fish, nano fish, and they're good grow out tanks as well, as you can see here for my angel fish. Really nice. So I'll talk more about this whole rack system. So I built this rack system for me to play with some of the little fish that I really enjoy, like pseudo-bluegills, and also use it as a grow out tank for growing out baby fish, fry. And today we're going to take a look at each one and every tank. 3 days ago I did a water change on these two rows up here, the top row and the middle row. But I haven't done anything with those. Well, I haven't done a water change on that tank actually, sorry, but these three tanks I haven't done a water change on, so I'll be doing that today. And yeah, this tank as well, I haven't touched this tank at all. I really love the green water because green water is very beneficial for baby fish, especially for my baby rainbow fish. It really helps them grow faster. And if you guys don't know, rainbow fish are one of the slowest growing fish that ever exists. This right here, these are 𝗲𝘋𝗀𝘀𝗀𝘀 rainbow fish. I still don't know how to pronounce 𝗲𝘋𝗀𝘀𝗀𝘀. These guys have been in this tank for a couple months now, and you can see just how small they are, and I feed them multiple times a day. It might also be the temperature. It is slightly cooler. This tank is at about 22 degrees Celsius. It's got a lid on but no heater. And then right in this tank are the parents of those little fish, and you can see how nice they look. I've got a trio of them in here, and it'd be nice if they show the sides because they've got some great coloration. Half orange, half blue, dark blue. And they used to be in this tank right here, but they never showed very nice colors, and I'm guessing it's because of the gravel. The light gravel just reflected on their bodies, and it just didn't give a good contrast between the blues and orange. So it's really nice now that they're in this darker tank. In the future, I'll definitely be upgrading these rainbow fish, the trio, into a larger tank, at least a 2-footer. I think they'll much prefer that, to have more space. And these guys, for now, they're okay. They're still not full grown. They're still pretty small. You can see the female just swimming in the back over there. So that right there is the female with one of the males, and the males are the ones that have the beautiful color. These angelfish are so fun though. Look at them, baby angelfish. But yeah, let's go and take a look. Let me talk about this tank first. So this is a green water tank that I just have some guppies in here. These are the guppies that aren't of the best qualities that I've bred, so they're just living in this tank right now, and you can see they're all doing okay. So this is green water. I've got a little container here that currently has one rainbow fish fry, the 𝗲𝘋𝗀𝘀𝗀𝘀 rainbow fish fry, and the rest of them, they still haven't hatched out. So let me show you guys right over here. These are some of their eggs, and you can see the ones that are darker in color, that are black, are going to hatch very soon, and the ones that are lighter still have a couple days, maybe a week or so, until they hatch. And I've got a few more eggs over here, and these are from different rainbow fish, and you can see they are really clear, like it's almost impossible to see them. So I'll try to get some close-up shots of that for you guys. But yeah, so I do want to keep a tank of green water, but I really don't like this tank being here because it's just too tall for this rack. I built this rack for these tanks specifically, and you can see there's enough room here, about I think 15 to 20 centimeters. I forgot exactly how much space there is here, but there's plenty of room in here for me to work comfortably, to do water changes, to clean the tanks, and it's a really nice rack system. I really enjoy this. But for this tank right here, even though I don't need to do anything with this tank, I just don't like this little space, because even putting this little container, this plastic container in through here was a real challenge. I had to lower the water level down and tilt this tank forward so that I could fit that in there, because there's no other way for it to fit in. Even through this gap over here, there's not enough space back there, and yeah, so I really want to change this tank out in the future. I was thinking of maybe adding 2 more of these tanks over here, and I also was thinking of getting just one tank, a 60 centimeter tank, just a lower version, and one that goes all the way to the back, because this tank doesn't actually reach the back of the rack, as you can see right there. And the nice thing is that they do make tanks of this dimension just connected, so a 2-footer version of this, 60 by 45 by 30, so the height would be the same. It's just a 60 centimeter version of that. So yeah, it's just like 2 of those tanks connected into one tank. So yeah, I'm thinking of maybe getting one of that for this rack system. I think it'll be a nice touch, and it'll be great for the plecos. I may actually do a combination of the plecos with the 𝗲𝘂𝘀𝗀𝘀 rainbow fish in the same tank, in that 60 centimeter tank I was just talking about. That might be a nice combination. They'd have enough room. The plecos like to just stay at the bottom, and if the plecos have fish swimming above, they'll feel much more comfortable having dither fish around. So yeah, I've been thinking about that. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. But let's go and start this tour. We're looking at the first tank up here. This is the fry grow out tank, and they're all 𝗲𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗀𝘀 rainbow fish, 𝗲𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝑀 rainbow fish. In Japan, we actually just call these the half orange rainbow fish. Yeah, because they're half orange. But you can see these ones are tiny. They've been in here for a couple months. I feed them multiple times a day, 2 times a day, sometimes even 3 times a day, and they just take forever and ever and ever to grow. But I've got some larger ones of those, and I'll show you right over here in this tank. These ones have been growing for more months than the ones we just saw, and you can see they've got more color. Sometimes they even, I think they might be even ready to breed. Well, the males, I'm not sure, because sometimes they put on some really nice colors. So I think they might be trying to breed or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, I feed these guys a lot too, and they just take forever to grow. But they're currently in with these angelfish, larger angelfish. I just really love these rainbow fish, the shape, their colors. Just such a nice fish to play with. Really recommend this fish if you've got a good tank set up for them. So that is the first tank. I've also got some like floating 𝗲𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗀𝘀 and just Anubias in here. These were plants that were in another tank, but I'll talk more about that in a moment. Right in the tank next to it, we saw these guys already, just some juvenile angelfish that I've bred. The angelfish we just saw, actually, they're babies, as well as the parents of the little rainbow fish we saw, so the 𝗲𝘂𝘀𝘀𝗀𝘀 rainbow fish. And we've got a spawning mop. This is a DIY creation. It's really easy to make these, and the rainbow fish will lay their eggs all over there, and you just pick at them one at a time, one by one, and you wait for them to hatch in another container. Now in this tank right here, this is a really random tank. It's just got a bunch of this philodendron, Papua New Guinea, just growing in here. You can see really cool root system. Really easy plant to grow. This philodendron actually can grow underwater. So Takashi Amano used this plant a lot, and he actually at one point planted this tank underneath the inside the soil, inside the substrate, and it was just like carpeting in the tank, which was kind of cool to watch. So it's a plant that can grow underwater, but I like to stick it out like this. It actually looks kind of nice, and this tank will be getting redone in the future. I just had this tank for my least killifish, I think that's what they're called, the Heterandria formosa. I had a few of them in this tank, but they just didn't do well, and I'm not sure why. There was one point where I had a bunch of babies in here, but then they slowly died off, and right now I've just got one male, and he's currently all the way in the back right here, and I don't think they were sick or anything. I just don't think they really, man, I really don't know, because this male that I have is doing quite well. So I don't know, maybe they were fighting or eating the babies or whatever, I'm not sure. But currently I've got one. 𝗲𝗾𝗀𝗀𝘀𝗀𝘀. In this tank here, these rainbow fish are awesome, and I really like this. These are the Pacific blue eyes, also known as the 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗶𝗀𝘀𝗀. And they are beautiful. The males just have some amazing coloration. Like, take a look at this guy. That's a female right there. The males are the dark yellow, orange ones. And they look amazing. But the thing with these guys is they're not laying any eggs for me. I've only got one egg so far. And that one egg I found last night. So I think what I have to do is I've got to, like right there in the middle of the screen is that one egg that I found last night. And what I gotta do is I gotta check the eggs more often. So at least twice a day I'll be starting to check the eggs. I already checked it today. No eggs so far. So I'm not sure what's wrong. Maybe it's because of all these plants that I've got in here, they're laying the eggs. And I actually had more plants in here before, these plants as I mentioned. So these floating plants were in this tank, and I was just scared that maybe they're laying all their eggs in the live plants. So I took that out, put that in that tank, and maybe now they're laying their eggs in all these anubias and that Java fern in the back there. So I probably got to get all the plants out of this tank, and maybe they'll start laying the eggs in the spawning mop for me. But I've got 3 males to like 10 females in here. I'm not sure how many females I've got, but a lot more than the 3 males that I've got. So they should be producing a lot of eggs for me, but they just aren't. So if any of you have experience with the Pacific blue eye, let me know in the comments down below. It really helped me out because I really want to breed those. Alright, these guys, look, they're breeding in this anubias. That is crazy. Alright, so now I know what the problem is. I gotta get these live plants out of this tank, and it's really possible to breed them using live plants, but it's just gonna be impossible to find the eggs that are hidden in there. So yeah, I know what I've got to do now. I've got to get all these plants out. Yeah, man, you guys, I got a whole spawning mop for you in here, and you guys prefer the live plants, which is probably the natural thing to do, because in the wild you probably don't have people creating spawning mops for you. But yeah, now we know. Alright, so in this tank right here, this tank used to have another type of 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝘀 called the 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝘀𝗀 or the delicate blue eyes, and I had a good group of 8 of them, I think, but they all slowly started dying one at a time, and it was really my fault. I should have treated them from the start, but I didn't. And until some of you guys commented in my videos, you guys told me it's probably internal parasites and you should treat for that. It was already too late. At that point I only had, I think, 2 left, and yeah, I really couldn't do anything about it, so I blame myself. Maybe one day I'll try again, but for now I really am kind of afraid to get those delicate blue eyes again. And maybe one of the reasons why they died on me is because they're delicate. I gotta learn from my mistakes, so in the future I'll definitely be watching out for parasites, for disease early on, and I'll definitely be treating them using medications. But right now I've just got one 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝘀 in here, and he's just testing out the water for me. He's been in here for about a month now, and he seems to be doing fine, eating well. You can see he's got some size on him, he's not skinny. So yeah, it's nice to know that it's probably worm free in this tank, parasite free. So right here are some of my better koi tuxedo guppies, well, mostly females and 1 male. So this is probably one of my best males, and he's kind of an older guy, so you can see he's not the fittest. Doesn't probably, yeah, well, he looks good. I believe he looks good, and he's currently breeding with all these females. These females aren't the best quality koi tuxedo guppies, but they're the best in the group that I've got at home here. So I'm trying to selectively breed them for the best traits, the best qualities, and hopefully get a good strain of them. The ones that are in this tank are really not good looking. Like, some of them don't have the red coloration on their heads. Some of these females are really old and geriatric. They can't swim straight. Some don't have colors on their tails. Some have spots and stuff. So I'm just picking out the best ones that I've got, adding them into this tank and trying to breed them. I've also got some in this tank, but these ones aren't also very good quality. Like, you can see this one here doesn't have that nice of a dark coloration. It's got some nice blue colorations, but not kind of the trait I'm looking for. This one doesn't have the best red face. So the ones that aren't of best quality, I keep them in this tank, or I use them to kind of cycle other tanks and make sure that the water is fine. The only thing I don't do is like kill them, because I really don't have the heart to do that. Now in this tank right here, there's some really special fish that I've been waiting so long for to get, more than a year to get, and it's probably not that long, but for me, a year to get the fish that I really want is quite a long wait, and I finally got them, and I love these fish. The only problem are that they're so hard to get good pictures of and to take videos of. And these guys right here are the 𝗯𝘂𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 beautiful. You can see the males here are just so nice, and the common name for these would be the butterfly rainbow fish. But these are slightly different than the regular butterfly rainbow fish that you'd get. These are from a specific area in Papua New Guinea, I think. I'm not exactly sure, like maybe there's some rainbow fish experts out there watching this video and you can kind of comment down below, but the 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝘀 is the term or the name from where they're collected. And I think there's another type of this called the 𝗯𝘂. They're the same fish, just collected a few yards or a few feet apart from each other. So I'm not sure exactly, but I just really wanted these fish because they look so amazing, and they're just one of the prettiest fish in my opinion. And the amazing thing is, I've only had these fish for 4 days now, I think. Wait, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, 4 days. I got them on Monday, and now it's Thursday while I'm recording this, and they've already given me quite a few eggs. So yesterday was the first day I checked, and today I checked again and found some more eggs. So you can see right there, these are all the eggs they've given me. So around 15 to 20 eggs, I suppose. So I'm so happy about that, and I can't wait to get them to hatch and grow out. And yeah, I'll be adding more to this tank, and hopefully in the future I can start selling them, which will be very, very rewarding for me. And in this tank is another fish that I really love. They're very similar in shape and size, just the coloration is totally different. So these guys are kind of like the red version of these. So these are called the 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝗀𝘀, and you can see there's a big female right there, another female. The females are really beautiful here, and the males are even more like stunning. You can see there's one male right there. And the unique thing is that the males have some different colorations. So some of my males have like orange tips on the fins, and then other ones have whitish tips on the fins, which is quite cool. Maybe they're from different areas, or maybe they're from different breeds. These ones aren't wild. This is a wild type fish. These ones are probably aquarium bred for a couple generations now, so I'm not too sure why some of them have different fin colorations. But yeah, you can see a really beautiful fish. And these guys, I'm having a hard time getting eggs from, and I think it might be the plants, so I'll probably be removing some of these plants. But this tank here, I've also got plants, and they're properly depositing their eggs in the spawning mob. These guys, you guys gotta start laying your eggs in the spawning mob. And now before we take a look at these last two tanks, I'm gonna do a water change on them, and maybe of this one too, so that we can get a better look at the fish that are in there. right, looking so much better. Let's take a look at this tank down here. So this is one of my favorite type of fish, dwarf cichlid. They're just so beautiful and so unique. Take a look at them right here. These are the checkerboard cichlids. Don't look at that guppy because that's a distracting little fish right there. But right here, these checkerboard cichlids are so amazing to me. I don't know about you guys, but they're just like, there's no other fish that looks like this. That patterning, the spotty, I'm not sure what to even, checkerboard pattern is amazing. And I tried to make this substrate as natural as possible so that they could blend in with it. I put some little bits of soil mixed with gravel and sand, and I think they really like it. And I've also put a bunch of leaf litter in. I might add a bunch more. I do want to remove these guppies because it really doesn't look natural to have guppies in with these South American fish. So I'll probably remove them and add some other type of fish. I'm thinking of something like a pencil fish, something very peaceful and small and not aggressive. Well, yeah, that's peaceful, right? Yeah, so something peaceful and small to go in with these fish. I think having dither fish will really benefit them. I think it makes them feel safer because these guys are quite timid in nature. You might think that they're aggressive, and I guess they can be aggressive when they're in breeding mode, but in my experience keeping these fish for the last few months, almost close to a year now I've had these fish, they've been doing really well and are very peaceful. So I've got 7 of them in here, and hopefully one day I'll be able to breed them and get some more of them. Now in this tank over here, this is my pleco tank. I've got a bunch of 𝗯𝘂𝘀𝗀𝘀 leopard frog plecos in here. You can see one right here sticking its face out. In the past I only showed I had one of this, and I always mentioned I wanted to get more, but because they're kind of pricey, I really didn't have the guts to go out and buy a bunch more. So when they were on sale, I decided this is like probably the best chance I've got if I want to get them. And they take a while to mature and become of breeding age, so yeah, I just wanted to get them as soon as possible, and now I've got 5 in total. So hopefully these new additions, these new guys, can grow bigger and maybe breed with this one that I've had for a while. As always, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.